Hello guys, welcome back to another video of mine. This is your match preview for Chelsea versus Southampton in the Premier League tomorrow, 3 o'clock at Stamford Bridge. I'm so happy to have club football back. It's been a long 2 weeks with the international break. It felt like 2 months, not 2 weeks. And especially with how Ireland played in the international break, it was pretty depressing stuff. So I'm really happy to have club football back. Now, before I get into the preview of the Southampton game tomorrow, I just want to thank you guys for um, the good feedback I got on the video I did during the week talking about sexism in women's football and my thoughts about Frank Lampard's situation at Chelsea. Now, for me, the views that I got on that video were pretty good and within such a short space of time. So I do really appreciate the people watching it and supporting it in any way they can. So I do really appreciate that, and I will have more videos similar to that within the rest of the year and heading into next year as well. And I will be doing ones that aren't football related, so hopefully you guys can enjoy that when they come around. Now, getting into the game, so Southampton tomorrow, it will be a difficult game. I don't want people to get the feeling that it's going to be just a walk in the park, plain sailing, because it's not, because Southampton are a decent side. They started off the season quite poorly. They lost their first two games. They lost Crystal Palace on the opening day and then got quite a battering against Spurs in the second game of the season. But since then, they have picked up and they have won their two games since. They beat Burnley and West Brom since. So they've kind of picked up their form and have confidence in them. So it will be a difficult game. And they will come here with, a plan. They will come here thinking they can get a result, because they did beat us last season here 2-0. I remember it well. We were shocking that day. And they also beat us here in Mourinho's last season. I think they beat us 3-1. And I remember that. It was an embarrassing day. And that was when Mane and Van Dijk were still playing for Southampton. So that shows how long ago it was. But I'd like to think that, with our fully fit squad looking like it's very close to its return, we should be able to get the job done. Now, Frank Lampard had his press conference today. He ran through injury news, who's fit and who's not. So I'm going to run you through that quickly so you can have an idea of who's available to play tomorrow and who's not. So I'm going to start with the players that are available to play tomorrow now. Christian Pulisic is fit, ready to go. He played a couple of minutes against Crystal Palace before the international break, so he's fully fit, ready to go. Ben Chilwell's fit as well. He pulled out of the England squad during the international break only a couple of days ago, actually, because of he had a bit of a problem with his heel. He's had a persistent heel injury when he was at Leicester, and then when we signed him as well. So he left because he felt a little bit of a pain in there. But Frank Lampard said he's feeling good now and is in the squad tomorrow, so that's good to hear. And the one that we've all been waiting for as Chelsea fans, Hakim Ziyech, finally will be in the squad tomorrow and will make his debut. Frank Lampard confirmed that in his press conference, but he also did kind of confirm that it wouldn't be from the start. He won't be starting the game, but will be making an appearance off the bench for however long that may be. I would suspect maybe the last half hour, 25 minutes or something along that. Hopefully we'll have the job done by then, but if not, it's a very good option to have come off the bench. Other than that, I think everyone else is kind of ready. And now I'm going to get into the players that aren't fit. Now, Edouard Mendy picked up an injury on international duty with Senegal. He picked up a thigh injury, although this was about a week and a half ago, so he has had time to recover. It doesn't look too serious. I think it's just a strain rather than a pull or a tear. So, he should be very close to, being back able to play. But Frank Lampard did say this game will come too soon, I think, with the Sevilla game in the Champions League on Tuesday, and then their next Premier League game against Manchester United next weekend. With those in mind, Frank Lampard would preferably have him available for those two games rather than rush him in this one. So it is likely we will see Kepa deputise or even Caballero. And Thiago Silva is not fit either. He went on international duty with Brazil. And he's not injured. Frank Lampard said he's not injured. It's just a case of his age you have to take into account, and also the long haul journey, flying to South America and the time difference and everything. So Frank Lampard said that he won't play this game, but I would expect him to be back and in the squad against Sevilla on Tuesday. Other than that, everyone else is good, ready to go. A couple of knocks here and there for other players, but it isn't enough to keep them out of the squad for tomorrow. So That's good to hear. And so now I'm going to run into the starting 11 I would like to see play. This was the team that I would pick if I was the manager, but I'm not a manager, so but we'll give it a good shot anyway. So in goal, as I mentioned, I'm sorry if you can hear that in the background. There's a bit of work being done in the house, so I do apologise for that. But getting into the starting 11 now. In goal, this is a tough one. Obviously, as I just mentioned, Mendy is unable to play. So I think I would go with Kepa in goal. Now, Kepa did actually play for Spain on the international break, kept a clean sheet against Portugal, albeit didn't really have anything to do and wasn't really tested that much, but I'm sure it would have given him some form of confidence coming back to us. So I think we should give him a chance, but as soon as Mendy's fit, back in. So I give Kepa a chance just for this game, and just pray to God that he doesn't make an absolute howler. Fingers crossed. Moving into the back four, right back. This is tricky because Azpilicueta's, obviously such a Mr. Reliable, as we call him, and always do a job. But Reece James was very, very good for England on international duty. He did get sent off against Denmark the other night, but that was after the game. It wasn't during the game. So this is a tough one, but I would just edge with Reece James for this one, just because we want to have a bit more, pace and an attack-minded fullback in this game. So I would go with Reece James at right back. Two centre-backs, I would go with Kurt Zouma. Now, as I mentioned, Thiago Silva is not able to play this game, so I would go with Fikayo Tomori. I think Tomori deserves his chance. It's funny because Tomori was there was a period last season when he was just completely, nowhere near the team or the starting 11. When he didn't really do anything wrong, he's always been fairly decent when he's played. So I would give him a chance in Thiago Silva's absence to, prove himself and hopefully put in a good performance. So I'd like to see Tomori and Zouma partner each other at centre-back. And left-back, I would go with Ben Chilwell. Frank Lampard said Ben Chilwell is in the squad, is able to play, and if that's the case, he should be starting. He's our first-choice left-back, so I don't see any reason why he shouldn't start. Moving into midfield, I'm going to go with a 4-3-3. I think we need to be attack-minded when we are at home. So I would go with... it's tough. I would go with... Actually, do you know what? No, we're not going for a 4-3-3. We're going to go for a 4-2-3-1 because it would be nice to accommodate all our attacking options that we have. So I'll go 4-2-3-1. I would go with Kovacic and Kante as the two deep-lying midfielders. I think that those two are our best kind of midfield duo. Now, I know Jorginho's played very well. He obviously scored the 2 penalties against Crystal Palace and has looked reasonably solid, but I still think that Kante and Kovacic play better together than Jorginho and Kovacic. I think when Jorginho and Kovacic play together, it's too one-dimensional. It's too, always sideways, backwards passing. And then Jorginho and Kante is just, it's kind of the same really. Whereas I think Kante and Kovacic complement each other well because Kovacic does like to dribble with the ball and, burst forward, and then Kante can kind of cover him and hold back a little bit. So I think those two complement each other well and are our best midfield duo. So I go with them. Midfield 3, I would go with Christian Pulisic on the left, Kai Havertz as the number 10. Now I would like to see Ziyech start from the off, but we know that's not going to happen. So if it was me, I would go with Pulisic left, Havertz number 10, and Ziyech on the right. But we all know that's not going to happen. So I would probably just lean towards Callum Hudson-Odoi to start the game, and then obviously Ziyech will come on for him at some stage during the game. And then I go with Timo Werner up front. I think that kind of speaks for itself. I think we've kind of wasted Timo Werner a little bit in the first couple of games of the season. He's been playing more on the left than he has up front, and he's a goal scorer, and by doing that he needs to be the most advanced player, and that is being the number 9. So I think we need to start playing him there from now on, and we will reap the rewards for it. So that's the team that I would like to see play. Now hopefully we can get the job done. I don't see why we can't. It will be a tough game, as I mentioned, but we should, if we want to be progressing and be up near the top of the table, we can't be dropping points in these games. We need to start being a lot more consistent. So with that being said, I'm going to be confident this week, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 Chelsea win, and hopefully that comes true. So anyway, guys, that's kind of it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please drop it a like and subscribe if you're new around here or you enjoy the content, and I will have the review for the game. If not after the game tomorrow evening, I will have it definitely out on Sunday. So I will see you then, guys, and take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.